Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 10.33. That's what makes it different from the earlier versions of similar playthroughs, with a lot of other sub-mods. We're going to continue here, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, post comments below. Okay, we're no longer receiving a little bit of money from Switzerland for coal. All right. New Year diplomatic reception. Full access. All diplomats were impressed by the new Reich Chancellery. I think that's a modern computer rendering of what it looked like. There's an actual photo of it there. We'll take the tour. It improves our relations with some nations here. You can see the idea of big, long, impressive hallways. Built, is this big enough? And you can see walking up to this door here, just give you an idea of what it looked like inside. The fancy marbles, the red colored marbles used. And there's Hitler's office, in which, that's the eagle above the door there, he used to impress foreign dignitaries. Now again, and I say again because I know I've talked about this many times now, but not everyone's watched everything. When Hindenburg is alive, Hitler, 5 days a week, comes into the Reich Chancellery as, Chancellor of Germany. Unless he's traveling around Germany, which he was, doing often. But he, comes to the office basically every day. Or he's like, oh, he went to Munich, or oh, he went to, Hanover, or some other city or event or whatever. So either he was traveling for his job, or he was in the office for a number of hours every single day, 5 days a week. That was basically it. Once Hindenburg dies, it's not maybe immediate, but it's very quickly he stops coming in. Boom. He is no longer running the government from the Reich Chancellery. And this is sort of critical about National Socialist politics and understanding. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it does affect it. So he becomes definitely an absentee from the office. For him, the effective seat of government is Berchtesgadens here, this literal building here. And so he basically runs the government out of his home, which radically, and this is one thing that I just saw something posted by for Hearts of Iron 4, a modification to Speer, who mostly more benefits than the standard Hearts of Iron 4 Speer. Saw this over on Twitter, that some trying to do real history or whatever from games, and then they also make a reliability of tanks go down because there wasn't enough parts, but in there for stuff. But they said Speer mostly was taking credits for programs started under other people. We found in our research, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I mean, it's just a Twitter post, so you can't put too much there. I'm not saying the research is wrong, but what Speer is doing, Speer isn't some brilliant, great industrialist organizer of all time. I mean, he sort of tries to make himself out as that. But what he is a reasonably smart person. I'm not trying to say anything brilliant about him, but reasonably smart person who can show up here without an invitation, walk up these steps, walk into this building, and none of the guards and none of these people are going to stop Speer. And unless Hitler is in a room that, I'm in a private meeting, no one come into here, Speer gets to open that door and walk into the room. If Hitler's in there. If Hitler's eating dinner, he can walk, because Hitler doesn't eat on his own. He eats with a group of, normally, it varies, of course, but, I don't know, 8 to 12 people, and it varies to who's invited to dinner. Speer can just walk in on him. Now, there may not be a place set for him, but nobody's going to stop Speer from walking in there. And he might go, oh, I already ate, or do you want to, make room at the table for him. He can literally walk into anything that isn't a private meeting, just because the way Hitler conducts his government, it's through a lot of these sort of casual sort of meetings and casual sort of stuff. And yes, there are these famous, rants that Hitler's giving to people. That really happens. Absolutely. And, you might warn Speer, don't go in right now. He's, in a rage or something like that. And Speer might go, oh, okay, no, yeah, I'm not going in there now. Or, perfect timing for me to go in when he's in a rage. Because Speer knows him, maybe to calm him down. Speer's a good buddy of his. So Speer can walk into Hitler's, these sort of, public presence within the building, not necessarily to his bedroom or his bathroom or whatever, but into his sort of home public, because, sort of, if you will, public areas within the home that the inner circle get to go there. He can walk in there at any time he wants to. The Roth can't come in and see him without an appointment. Rader can't come in to see him without an appointment. Schack's long gone. While he was there, Hess could. Well, I guess Martin Bormann is just not on the list yet. Martin Bormann was the guy that was in charge of setting the appointments. So he's the guy you got to get through to get to Hitler normally. Von Papen couldn't, who had been vice chancellor, of course. He can't get in there. Ritter von Epp can't get into there. I mean, you want me to go on of how many people that, at least my, Wilhelm Frick, Minister of the Interior, can't get into without an appointment. He can get in with an appointment, yes, but he can't get in, just walk in without this kind of stuff. Reinhard Heydrich just walk into Hitler's presence? Hell no, he has to have an appointment. Now maybe he can walk up to the building and go, can I see one of the private secretaries, or can I see Martin and talk to Martin, Martin Bormann, and can you squeeze me in to see Hitler today? I got this really important thing. And Martin Bormann may go, okay, yeah, I'll see what I can do, and, get him in. But you've got to get through Martin Bormann and the apparatus that Martin Bormann runs that so many of these people can't do. Walter Schellenberg couldn't get anywhere near him, without a specific meeting at some point. So this is one of the things that Speer, I know we got onto Speer can do. And so that's why Speer is so powerful. And so when Speer speaks and he's rationalizing, because there are all these little fiefdoms, if you will, in Nazi Germany. And in some ways, with all the sort of rationalization of political boundaries, from Weimar, pre-German Empire, you can, many of you played various paradox games, what the various political boundaries within what becomes Germany look like. A lot of those have become rationalized, but within those there's all kinds of, there's this little factory that is either owned partially or fully, or just who's buddies with the local Gauleiter, and so you can't touch that factory for whatever it does. It needs its resources to make its things, whether and it's maybe happy to turn over from little metal toys to making helmets or something for the war effort, but you can't shut that factory down. And then the factory on the other side of the street that's also making helmets, can't shut that down because the local Sturmbannführer, or whatever level of SA leader, he's buddy with that. And so you get a bunch of, let's say, helmet factories. Instead of having one big helmet factory cranking out helmets, you got all this duplication of effort. Speer can go, nope, shut that down, move these machinery over there, make this efficient production line. Not any more rational than anybody else. He's not like some sort of super genius. He's just has that power to get that done and walk out. And a lot of the programs that maybe started prior to him that come online during him, well, there's a lot of, as we would in the modern world call red tape, but also just infighting between organizations, who gets to control what and how, and all this stuff is going on and fighting on. Well, Speer can, pick the organization and put it in charge and have it go. So that's just Speer. So the government, so this is really weird government that I'm trying to emphasize, that Hitler's running out of his home on the side of a freaking mountain. Okay, that's where Hitler's running the government from. What's all this doing here? That's his desk. There's a nice sitting area over there. What is all this? This and some of the nearby rooms. I think the nearby room is where, what is it? Orcha, the president of Czechoslovakia, sort of has his, heart attack or panic attack or whatever the hell it was, when they were putting the pressure on him to capitulate, and because of pushing for Slovakian independence and German protection and whatnot. This is to impress foreign dignitaries. That's what this is. This is to put. This is, and also these rooms are used like for the ceremony of handing out the marshal's batons after the fall of France is done, I believe, in this room. From the photos, I'm pretty sure it's this room. It's done, and the photographed in there. So this is sort of the ceremonial office for things like that. It's for whether positive ceremonies like, we're signing the Hungary's coming into the tripartite pact, and Hitler's thinking he needs to show up for it. So bring all the dignitaries into here and sign it, whether in this room or one of the other rooms in the Reich Chancellery. And this is where you have the meeting, or like put the screws to the president of Czechoslovakia. That happens in this little room, or some of the rooms, through some of these doors right around here. Sometimes you sort of, you go sit in this other room and think about it, call your government and see what you should do, and we'll be back to you, and let them sit there for 6 or 8 hours or whatever. And so, while we're monitoring and put pressuring on you, that's what this is for. So either for positive or negative reinforcement of mostly foreign officials, but also the appropriate outside of the inner circle types, but high government German officials reasons. So that's what this is. This is a ceremonial office for Hitler. So just to cover what that room is for and why that was built and what it was used for. So it's very interesting trying to understand the National Socialist government. Okay, Mein Führer, yes, tank destroyers advance, good. I'm sure we'll be having a bunch of those. Let's see. Yeah, we could do medium artillery brigades now. FW-200 Condors for the Luftwaffe. Do we want to take those, get some descent, get a few more naval bombers? No, we'll let them fly. If you want to take the descent, they're maybe not a bad thing to do, but I figure we're just going to build our own. I might have a different answer if this was asked a little more during the war. Yes, you can have some energy. Okay. Telefunken concert for all of the Wehrmacht. So this is a concert that, first concert broadcast by German radio for the Wehrmacht. So the idea is, having one broadcast, but broadcast simultaneously all over Germany. In those days, it was a bit of a technical achievement to do it all at once. Okay, so something craft cart or whatever. The earlier version of this was for a motorized forces. Now they're moving it into Die Panzertruppen, or Die Panzertruppe, tank troops. So the publication is still the same, pink, but name change. So instead of motorized, it's specifically like, we're going to do tanks. And this is, you can sort of see in here, you can look a little carefully if you want to see what the page is, talking about like motorcycles for the, it continues on looking a lot of motorization for military means, because this was all still very new. Since that did give a bit of a boost to some technologies, just to make sure that nothing tripped over it, couldn't or shouldn't be continued researched. Okay, study for second armor HQ. Yes, we will do that. Yes, we will take that. Basically, between UTR and some of the other mods, you get more HQs than you probably need. Yeah, how many do you need? I don't know. I mean, that's maybe a bit of a subjective term, but you get a lot more than you're probably going to use early on in the game, because some of these things were done, like some of, well, not so much these, like these just that you're getting. There used to be not enough of these specialty units, so various mod makers added them, and the more later ones are more historically based. Tactical attack focus. I think that's here. Yeah. No, we won't come down to command. There we go. So you can reject them if you want, or figure we might have a use for them later on, and just wait to use them. Let's see here. Well, you know what we're going to do is, let's look over here at, advanced education tech. Now that we are in 1939, pushing ahead into 40 isn't big at penalties, so we will do that, and we can take advantage of the benefit from that earlier. What we can with some of these other units, or some of these other techs that affect units that we're not actively bombing somebody with, or otherwise attacking them. Okay, fire control systems advanced, that's Navy, is that here. Let's just go through, get these cleared out. Battlefield concentration doctrine, or battle fleet concentration doctrine. Well, commerce, defense. Okay, well, we want that, but we want unrestricted submarine warfare more, so let's do cruiser crew, or submarine crew training, unit command and control. What? Yeah, that would be okay here. So let's look at some of these. We want to pursue that now. Already talked about Brazil letting in, or considering letting in, Austrians to try to get immigrants with more educated backgrounds in there. Commander Roel, I don't know how you pronounce that, squadron set up as a, directed under Goering's command as a special reconnaissance group. They'd often fly these aircraft that they really, more than just didn't have any national markings on the sides of the aircraft, but really tried to go in and, take a grinder to serial numbers on, my understanding is at least, serial numbers on like any, parts, machineries are made by something in Germany for a radio or something. Just try to, scrub anything off. So if they were shot down over some other countries, Germany go, yeah, it looks like one of our airplane models, but Nope, doesn't have any, national markings on it. Somebody else must have been flying it. It wasn't us, kind of thing. And so you could either do it or not. You get that. It does give you a, there we go, some light bombers. That's what they were, to use as, well, not, we can't fly over neutral territory, obviously, but that's what it was designed to do. Finland, yes, you can have energy. We need monstrous amounts of energy. We're building back up our steel. We're at least trying to grow our manpower. I know it was briefly higher than that, but all these various units coming on board. Someone got some of our blueprints. Okay, artillery unit combined arms has advanced very well. Well, let's start on this. Ground attack. Tactics. Is that one of these? Where's that? Here, let's shift over to industry. The third international winter sports watch. So this is continuing the winter events. So those are the various attendees. Helps minusculely our training, but improves relations also minusculely. Germany was trying all kinds of outreach to various nations during this time frame. Opel AG, subsidiary of GM Corps. Adam Opel is a German automobile manufacturer headquarters in Rüsselsheim, Hesse, Germany, and a subsidiary of General Motors Company. GM Chairman A. Schloen states GM's German operations are highly profitable. By the spring of 1939, the German government had assumed day-to-day control of the American-owned factory in Germany, but decided against nationalizing them completely. Should we nationalize them to keep the profits in Germany, or keep relations with American management, or keep relations with... This is not an event that I made. I don't think it is. Man. Don't think it is. Pretty sure it's not. Could be wrong. It's been a long time. I really don't think it's one of mine. Or keep relations with the American management to improve our production knowledge. Okay, so, boy, it's been so long I don't remember. Okay, so we keep working with GM. We'll lose some money, which that's very appropriate, money going overseas instead of staying at home. This is what I know I talked to Uncharted about this and whatnot, and I don't know where he got the who's made a really good mod for Hearts of Iron 4 called World Ablaze. So if you play Hearts of Iron 4, you want to check out his mod. Maybe it's not the mod for you, but you at least want to check it out, or my videos on it. But where you got the idea that prior to the war starting, that there was any sort of embargoes or reluctance to work with Germany, even in highly technical areas, and there wasn't. They're just to everything that I can see and find. And again, I don't think I made this. Man, I don't remember. I don't want to take credit for somebody else's, and I don't know. Sorry, I don't know which way this goes. So it very well could be something from GGA. I think it is, but I don't know. But that subsidiary of Opal Corp. See, with that parentheses out there is probably my cut and paste, so I'm thinking it's mine. Man, I don't remember this. Well, okay. So if we keep working with them, we're sending money back to the U.S. Opal is doing a lot of local designs. Now, remember, what's the least most well-known and I think the most produced truck for the German armed forces in World War II? The Blitz, meaning lightning, the Opel Blitz. So that is a GM, General Motors product, if you will. Now, I think it's a German designed and also German produced vehicle, but it's still the company, and that's the way my understanding is you keep working with it. We could nationalize it, gain money just because we're not sending money over, but lose relations with the US and lose industrial and automotive industrial efficiency. Nope, we want to gain those. And this really sort of shows how much the US was working with Germany. And I believe the companies during World War II are not nationalized by Germany, and it may vary from company to company. We're getting a lot of stuff coming. Varies from company to company, maybe. But a lot of it is just the money is just banked away during the war. And obviously the Germans, as it says there, are running it entirely, or primarily, mostly on their own on a daily basis. So the U.S. really doesn't have control to like shut it down or anything. And, so after the war, well, I don't know that GM benefits much, if anything, from Opel Blitz profits made during the war, because do Reichsmarks have any value after World War II? If you have because it's not like they have gold or something in their banks. It's Reichsmarks. And I don't know how, money profit transfers over. Now, so if you own shares in a company and the company, survives the war, you own a piece of the company, you own physical land property. It's, you get it after the war. So people's money, maintain, shifted over to the war. But I don't know that the companies really made, American companies or whatever made money from Germany from World War II in that sense, getting paid by the German armed forces to make weapons, if you will. Because a truck is a weapon. It doesn't shoot somebody, maybe, but it can carry something that shoots. So that is definitely we want to do, okay, yes, we want to do both of these. Let's get that going. So something that carries a machine gun or an anti-aircraft gun is a weapon. So if you're making trucks during the war, okay, for Vienna, so right, we want to do that. Another HQ for we'll do the big supplies because we have supplies for a lot of money, but also a lot of ICs. Percent gain. I'll come back online next month or next day. Yep, back up there. Good. Okay, mobile unit. Very nice. And do we have more? Okay. A bit more. Okay. These are useful even now. Radios, yes, because they unlock other things. These will unlock other stuff. But Why production is useful? Because that means we can keep the same amount of supplies being produced while reducing the amount of resources into it. But I think what we will do is agriculture, so increase our manpower. Oh, and we have one more, or a partial one. Well, this one seems like a bigger jump, so we'll do that first. You know, you talk about, there's a lot of going on, and I'm not sure when I say right now during, like, in January 39, I'm not, you know, because as time goes on and as the war either starts or gets closer, more and more trade secret going between the U.S. and Germany are shut down, but there is huge amounts of interest, and I know we've talked about this going on already, but in Germany, and particularly in IG Farben, with both synthetic fuel and synthetic rubber. They're working with Standard Oil. Standard Oil is not interested in, to the best, again, this is all to the best of my knowledge, but is not interested in synthetic fuel because they're Standard Oil. America pumps out more oil than it knows what to do with, so it's an exporter. They're not interested in synthetic fuels, but they are interested in synthetic rubbers, especially if you can make the rubbers out of a petrochemical component, which they can in plastics. Again, for all of you people out there, wouldn't it be good to get rid of the oil industry? We need to get rid of oil industry and go to something else. Now, for energy, you know, nuclear is probably a really good way to go now. I know it has a bad reputation, but it is, I think, rather cheap for the amount of energy you get out of it. You know, sure, dams are nice when and where you can build them, Norway, but, you know, solar and wind is just unreliable and not that good generative powers. Tidal energy, yeah, it can happen somewhere, but it's not really. So I know, you know, and someday, and, you know, hydrogen, if we can get a good separation system and an energy efficient separation, oxygen from hydrogen, water, you know, separating water out to get the hydrogen to burn the hydrogen, that could be very effective. And I'm very much in support of burning hydrogen for energy, especially like hydrogen cars. But I know you all want to do so many of you youngsters want to do electrical cars. Well, you can look amount of damage that it does to environment to build one electrical car compared to the amount of damage to do to build a gas car and pump the oil out. You'll end up, actually, the electrical car will do more damage because of the mining and whatnot with the chemicals will most likely do more damage. But that may be in dispute. But we need oil because oil makes your computers work. Because all that plastic in that oil, to the best of my knowledge, comes from a derivative product from oil, which could be coming from something like coal or whatever. There may be other alternative sources for making some of the plastics. And I'm not really a chemist, even though I've watched a few, you know, YouTube and other episodes on early making of plastics, and they talk about all the stuff, and I understand the words as they speak them, but I can't remember all of the stuff. But all that plastic, sure, your case is metal, but even the paint job on it is likely an oil-based paint. And all the, you know, plastic in your computer or on your cell phone and whatever else is oil. So you need oil. You need an oil industry to supply you, because a lot of what when you make gasoline, you're refining it. My uncle was a worked for several major oil companies as a chemist. He could have told you all kinds of the details of the stuff, but the sort of distilling processes, as I would call it, to refine out the gasoline, which gets out a lot of the other elements of the oil, going from often a thick black liquid to a clear liquid, getting all the rid of that black stuff out of there. That byproduct from the gasoline is what they use to make plastics, is my understanding. Correct me below if I'm wrong on any of this, please. But if you don't have a significant amount, because you can only do so much with recycling, and I'm sure recycling will over time get better. And all these people that dump all this stuff, mostly in Asia, and as a percentage of it, I think it's about 80% in Asia if you include India, China, and whatnot. But mostly not in the West, or in the highly developed Western world. Most of the plastic in the ocean is not coming from like California or Florida. I mean, yeah, there's some, and you'll find it. You look in a harbor, and you'll find a lot of plastic crap there, I'm sure. But so it does damage the environment, and I'm sure there's some levels of recycling that can and will be done. But I don't think recycling is like the only answer. Like, we have 25 billion tons of plastic, and that's all we'll never need, and we'll just recycle and recycle and recycle. I don't know that works. I just don't know, even if you could, if that works. And I don't think it works now. So we need oil to build things like your computer, your anything out there, your synthetic clothes, or synthetic threaded for your clothes, whatever it is. Oil is so much in our daily lives. So you anti-oil people, and yes, as you can tell, I have a family background, not just from my uncle, in oil. I'm a big proponent of oil. Sure, I want clean energy too, but oil is we are dependent for our modern world on oil. And any of those who want to shut it down are going to destroy the modern world, and it will get more pollution for the people that live. They'll be burning campfires and cutting down forests because there won't be enough energy from other sources. Now, maybe someday, as we get fusion reactors and other things online that burn clean and whatnot, yeah, someday we may radically reduce our needs on oil or coal, because I think you can also use coal as for some of the stuff too, because coal is just, I'm sure I know there are differences because there are different types of coals, chemical formulas, but in many ways it's just sort of dry oil in many ways, without being a chemist and without knowing all the stuff. But so there are other alternatives, but you need to have that industry functioning to supply enough to supply everything to continue on. You need that. Okay, Ribbentrop in Warsaw. Warsaw, visiting Reich Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop during the discussions of the requirements of the German ministry with Joseph Beck. Joseph Beck does not agree with them, which allows only for Germany to provide far-reaching transit facilities through Pomerania. So, I think, is that Ribbentrop there? No, that's Ribbentrop. I recognize him. That's Ribbentrop here. And so they're discussing, I think that's a map of Danzig or something, but they're discussing what the Poles, I believe, if I remember correctly, are offering to go, yeah, you can have a transit corridor through from here to here to run trains and, trucks and whatnot, but it's going to be under our control. We'll let you go through. We'll let you get onto it. You can sort of build a nice road and rail sections and whatnot. We'll let you go through unhindered, without doing an inspection for what's in the cargo. And if you want to put troops on the train, they just get to go through, but it's going to be under our control is sort of what the Poles are. We control the territory. We'll give you, transit rights through it, though. Germany's more saying the opposite. We want to control this. We'll give you some transit rights so that you can get up to Gdynia through our territory, kind of thing. So, peace, or will it be war? And I think at that, we're going to save this. And I want to thank you all for making it this far, listening to me. I hope I'm interesting enough. I know the game, there isn't much action going on, but I hope my talks are interesting. I really want to continue to grow the channel, grow this series. So it helps so immensely for you to comment below, for you to like the videos. But what really does is tell a friend, tell an enemy, post on some bulletin board, some forum, some Twitter, Twitch, I don't know, some sort of comment somewhere, even in inappropriate places, for Hearts of Iron, to tell some people about this, to grow this. It really, really helps. For all of you who do so, thank you so much. See you next time.